everyone. So this is Rajshekhar, and we'll be starting off with the core Java training course in our videos, and we'll be discussing this Java training for beginners, and even professionals can use these videos for learning Java, because we'll be going from beginning level to advanced level, where we are going to discuss a lot of examples and real-time examples where we can use these examples in your projects. So today we'll be dealing with about the course, Java course contents training. Whatever we are going to discuss during our training, we are going to discuss that one. And please subscribe to our channel so that you will get the latest videos, whatever we do. And we'll be doing the complete core Java, each and every part, minute part, and we'll be doing lot of examples. And during our training, we will be even giving assignments to you, so that you can do that assignments and send it to us, so that we'll check that assignments and we'll give a proper response to your programs whatever you have written with good suggestions. So today we'll be dealing with what are the contents we are going to discuss in this complete core Java. So the contents what we are going to discuss is the first one, like object oriented concepts. It's like an overview. So much more discussion we'll be doing once we enter into Java programming. Then the next one, why object oriented? Why object oriented? See, when you want to develop software applications, we are having even this structured approach like C language or Pascal or COBOL, like that. So when you are having such programming languages like C, what is the need of entering into object oriented? That discussion I'll be doing in this why object oriented. Then we'll be entering into Java introduction. So in this Java introduction, we'll be discussing like which company has released this Java, and what are the different versions we are having in Java, and what is the latest version of Java. Then the next one we go with the Java features, like where we discuss like the good features of Java, like platform independent, a unique feature of Java, portable, robust, object oriented, multi-threaded, dynamic, distributed. All these features will be elaborating more in this Java features. Then the next one we'll be seeing how to download and installing Java. And the latest version is 8. Then we'll be seeing step by step how to download Java, and we'll see how to install Java and what are the steps required to install your Java. Then the next one we'll see developing a Java application at command prompt. So we'll see how to develop a Java application at command prompt and what settings we require in order to develop the application at command prompt. Okay, that also we'll be discussing in this chapter. Then once we develop an application, I'll be explaining the first Java program. Explaining the first Java program. Okay, this is very good one. So a lot of information we'll be getting under this explanation of first Java program. Then we'll be going with IDEs. The meaning of IDEs is like integrated development environment. So the main use of going for IDEs is like we can develop the Java applications easily and rapidly. And in our course, I'll be discussing the IDEs like Eclipse, the most popular one. Then even I'll introduce about NetBeans, how to develop Java application using NetBeans. Then JDeveloper. Then IntelliJ IDEA. So these are the IDEs I'm going to introduce for you, and throughout the course I'll be making use of Eclipse. Then Once we complete these IDEs, once we know how to develop Java application using IDEs, then we'll go with the Java basics. So where in this Java basics, we are going to discuss all the basic related required for Java programming. Like we should have an idea of variables. Then we should know what are the different data types are supported in Java. Like we are in two data types like primitive data type and reference data type. Then where we discuss about casting, where we discuss implicit and explicit castings. Then we discuss what are the different operators supported in Java and which operators are supported in C but not C and C++ but not supported in Java. We'll also discuss the reason behind that. Then we'll go with the control statements. Like we are having the control statements like if statement, switch statement, while loop, do while loop, for loop, break and continue, then labeled break and continue which is added in Java. So from Java basics, on every day I'm going to give assignments. So you need to submit the assignments to our email ID so that we'll be checking that assignments and we'll be providing good suggestions and we'll follow good programming skills in your what are the assignments you are doing. Then the next part will be entering into Java arrays where we discuss one-dimensional arrays, and we'll even go with multi-dimensional arrays. Then the next and very important part of Java, and without this there is no Java, so that is Java object-oriented programming. Java object-oriented programming. Then where we start off with the first one, like we discuss about what is the meaning of class and what is an object, how to create a class and how to create objects of the class and how to access the members of the class using objects. So that is the first chapter. Whatever we discuss object oriented concepts that we are going to do with programming using Java technology. Then next again Java object oriented programming where we discuss about constructors. We go with the static keyword. Then the next one we go with the very important one, inheritance. So the main use of going for inheritance is like hierarchy of classes. So whatever the class you have created before, we can reuse that class. We can take the properties of your class into new classes. And it's a very good feature of object oriented which we are going to discuss using Java. Then one more very good feature of object oriented is polymorphism. Polymorphism, where poly means many forms, polymorphism means many forms, where we are going to see two important concepts here like static binding or compile time polymorphism, dynamic binding or runtime polymorphism, where we discuss method overloading and method overriding. Then we'll go with the final keyword. Then one more good feature of Java is like abstract classes. So whenever you want to form some rules or specifications for our applications, then we can go with abstract classes or even we can go with interfaces, which we discuss more once we enter into the respective topic. Then we'll go with the next one more good feature of Java like packages. A group of related classes and interfaces is packages. Then we discuss more of access modifiers like private, public, protected and default. Then we discuss more on overriding rules related to return type, and access modifiers. So overriding rules is never ending story. As we enter into the different topics, we'll be discussing the rules related to the topic. Then the last one and one more very good one, inner classes. Inner classes. Then the next one will go with the encapsulation. So the main use of going for encapsulation is binding of your properties and methods into a class and by providing security to your properties. That is your encapsulation. Then with this we complete our object oriented. Then the next one is like so once you are good with all the concepts like how to declare variable, the meaning of variable, the meaning of data members, the meaning of methods, the meaning of package, the meaning of final variables. Once you know all these concepts, the keywords, everything, then we can understand more Java coding standards. Java coding standards. Okay, so what case sensitive we have to follow for class name or method name or variable or final variables or packages. That standards we rediscuss once again with a proper document. However, when I enter into respect to concept, I'll be elaborating about Java coding standard followed, but I'll be doing a good document when I enter into this chapter. Then the next one we'll be going with this exploring java.lan package. So where in this package I'll be discussing about the object class, which is the topmost class in Java hierarchy. Then we go with string class. Then we go with string buffer class, string builder class. Then we'll be discussing about the math class, then runtime class, then even we discuss system class, and finally we'll go with the wrapper classes. So for every primitive there is a corresponding class like integer, byte, float, double, like that we'll be discussing more, and the need of wrapper classes we discuss. Then we'll be going with one more beautiful chapter, that is exception handling. So during runtime, if an error occurs, that is called as an exception, and whenever a runtime exception occurs, the program will get terminated. So in order to avoid that abnormal termination, we'll be making use of this exception handling, which makes our Java applications robust. Then we'll be going with multi-threading. So the main use of this multi-threading is, it is mainly used to increase the performance of Java applications. And what is the meaning of thread and what is the need of going for multi-threading? I'll be giving an overview in Java features, and much more elaboration we'll be doing in this chapter, multi-threading. Then we'll go with the next one, like Java 5, 6, 7 and 8 version features. So what are the different features are added in Java 5, 6, 7 and 8? Like some of the examples like enhanced for loop, that is for each loop, auto boxing, variable arguments, static imports, enumerations, generics, annotations. These all things are added in Java 5. And in Java 6, like console class, and we can load the JDBC driver class without using class.for for name. And in Java 7, we can the added feature like try with resource. Okay, and try with handling multiple exceptions using single catch block. Much more elaboration about generics. Then in Java 8, very important one like lambda expressions. We can include method interfaces, stream API for each method, like that. Okay, once we come to the respective chapter, we'll discuss more on that. Then one more very big one like collections framework. So without collections, there are no Java projects. We should be very much careful in this collection framework, where we discuss how to manage the collection. We can even do the collection part by using arrays. But when we go with arrays, it is with fixed size data. So in reality, we cannot go with fixed size. So we have to go with variable size. That variable size we can manage by using collection framework, where we discuss about collection interface, map interface, set interface, list interface, and subclasses under these interfaces like array list, linked list, stack, vector, queue, priority queue. Queue is an interface, priority queue. And we go with the asset, linked asset, tree set, then hash table, hash map, linked hash map, tree map, like that. So many classes we'll be discussing under this, and very good and very big chapter. Then even we'll be discussing like utility classes. Utility classes, like where we discuss about the date class, simple date format class, and we'll be going with this like calendar class, properties class, like that, string tokenizer class. So many things we discuss under this utility classes. Then we'll go with the next one, IO package. IO is called as input output. So in this one we'll be seeing how to create files on your hard disk, how to open the file and read data from the file from your hard disk, okay, how to access the file randomly, okay, and even we discuss very good topic like serialization, like writing objects onto the data file. Then we'll go with the networking. Then we introduce about applets. Then we'll go with AWT, a graphical programming, a GUI programming using Java, AWT, which we call it as abstract window toolkit. Abstract window toolkit. Then we'll go with one more very beautiful one, the advanced part of AWT, that is GUI programming using Sphinx. And even we discuss one more, GUI programming using JavaFX. Okay. Then the next one we'll be even discussing regular expressions. Then even we discuss reflection. Much more discussion about the topics we'll do directly in the chapter. Then we'll go with RMI, that is remote method invocation. Remote method invocation. So which is a distributed technology we can apply. The distributed, we can make our application distributed by using this RMI. Then we'll go with the SQL concepts. Like here in our course, I'll be discussing SQL concepts with using MySQL and Oracle. Both the databases I'll be discussing in our course. Then we go with the final one, JDBC, Java Database Connectivity. Java Database Connectivity. That is from our program, from our Java program, we can interact with the databases like MySQL or Oracle. So how to execute our SQL commands from our Java program, that we'll be dealing in this JDBC topic. And finally, I'll be showing a mini project using all these concepts. We'll be going with a mini project. Okay. And always remember, for every topic, for every chapter, whatever I'm discussing, I'll be giving the assignments to you. So you need to do that assignments to master in the technology like Java. Then you can submit your applications to our email ID so that we verify your programs, whatever you send to us, and we'll check it and we'll give good suggestions on your programs what you have submitted. Okay, and please do subscribe for our channel. And in the next video, we'll be starting off with object-oriented concepts. Thank you very much. Thank you.